Hi everyone, my name is Mary and this is Queen Ink, and today we're going to be doing the Summer Daisy Bracelet Part 2. And in Part 2 we're going to learn how to crochet this cute pink daisy using the two colors Fuchsia and Soft Pink by Yarnspiration's Simply Soft. And then I'm going to show you how to sew on your Summer Daisy. And as you can see on the back here, you cannot see your stitches, so it will be seamless. Then I'm going to teach you also in this video how to sew on these cute little added beads as well for an added feature. Alrighty, so let's get started with part 2. Okay, so I finished sewing on the two buttons, and yes, the original one was up here, and I actually moved it down here onto the rose petal row. Same with the pink one, and I tried it on and it actually fits a lot better than when I did it the first time. So this is what it's going to look like. I actually like it. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a flower on the front here. It's actually going to be a pink daisy. So let's get that started. So in order to start the pink daisy, we're going to be using a G6 4.25 millimeter hook. You can actually use a smaller hook to make the daisy a little smaller. Okay, so in order to start this, we're actually going to make a magic circle. And normally to make a magic circle, you'll just take your yarn like this, wrap it around like this, making kind of like a circle, and then I like to hold it, I like to hold it, and then I'm going to put it in through the back, hold the two right here, grab the working yarn, and pull it to the front, like this, and I'm kind of twisting it and holding it just like this. And then I'm going to grab the working yarn and make a slip stitch, and then I'm going to try and pull down on it a little like this, making it kind of tight, and that is how you make a magic circle. And then I pull this tail out, kind of make it a little smaller. Okay, so to start this, we're going to want to chain 1 and double crochet 10 into the circle. So chain 1, double crochet 10 double crochets into the circle. Just like this. And you are going to want to hold the magic circle and the double crochets with your 2 fingers, just like this. I feel it makes it a little bit easier to kind of steady it. Okay, now this might be a bigger flower, so let's take a look. No, I think it'll be just fine. If you want a smaller flower, I would suggest using like a 3.5 millimeter hook instead of the 4.25, or you can use a 3.75, somewhere in the 3s would be good. So I'm going to do 10 double crochets and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I'm back. And I did the 10 double crochets, just like this. So in order to close up the hole, you're just going to grab this longer tail and pull on it nice and tight. And this is what it's going to look like. You're going to pull that string in the back, and on the very top right here we're going to do a slip stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch like this. Now you should have 10 double crochets in that circle. Next we're going to cut off this yarn. Make sure to always grab the right one and pull it through. And then of course I always like to put this string, sew it in so it doesn't get into my way. So I'm going to sew in my strings real quick, and then we're going to attach the pink one, and I will be right back. I put in all my strings. You should have 10. Be careful, sometimes it may seem like 11, but it's not. It's actually 10. So we're just going to pick one of these stitches, and we're going to put our soft pink right into one of these stitches, just like this. And I'm just going to tie it. Now what we're going to be learning today is a decrease, is how we're going to do these 10 stitches. I kind of came up with this flower on my own, so hopefully it looks good. So we're going to grab the working yarn and pull up. This is not a chain 1, this one is actually a chain 1. We're going to do 2 double crochets together. And in order to do that, you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, go back into that stitch, grab your working yarn, and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to grab your working yarn and only pull through 2 on your hook. You're going to have 2 more. You're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, go back into the second stitch. It's not the one that we originally went into. You're going into the next one. You're going to pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, and only pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to finish it off by pulling through all 3 on your hook. And that is how you do a double crochet 2 together. Now the other thing that we're going to do is something a little different. You're going to now chain 1, and this double crochet right here, you're going to put 2 single crochets right into them. So open up the space, and you'll see this hole right here where my finger is. That is where you're going to put your 2 single crochets. We are going to single crochet down the side of this. It's not going to look like that because I opened it up. And then you're going to slip stitch right into this stitch. Okay, you're going to slip stitch right in there, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next one. Okay, so you're going to chain 1, going back into that stitch. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, grab your working yarn, pull through only 2 of those. 2 loops on your hook. Wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the next stitch, grab your working yarn, and pull up a loop. I'm holding my tail at the same time. Grab your working yarn, pull through 2. Make sure you actually get through 2. There you go. And then grab your working yarn and pull through all 3. Chain 1, turn your work, 2 single crochets along the side that double crochet. One and 2, slip stitch back into the original stitch and slip stitch into the next one. And this is what it's going to look like. Right now they look like bunny ears, but they're actually petals, and you're actually going to have 5 of these cute little petals going all the way around. I am going to do 1 more petal for you, and then you're going to do the other 2, so I will have done 3 petals with you. Yarn over, go back into the stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn, pull through 2. Sometimes your yarn can do that, so take your time. grab your working yarn, wrap your working yarn around your hook, go into the next stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn, pull through 2, grab your working yarn and pull through 3. Chain 1 and single crochet down the double crochet, down the side of the double crochet that we had just done 2 together. Just like this. Slip stitch back into that same stitch and slip stitch into the next one. Now all you have to do is 2 more petals. You will have a total of 5. I know it kind of looks a little funny. I am going to do the last 2 petals and then I will be right back with you. And I did the last 2 petals, and now all I have to do is slip stitch and then slip stitch. So we're going to slip stitch back into the stitch previous of the double crochet, just like this. Now you're going to have this funny little stitch right here. They normally call this a fake stitch. Not really sure why, but we are actually going to go over that and slip stitch back into, slip stitch back into the previous one to close that off like this. And this is what your flower is going to look like. This is actually the tail from where we joined it. And I'm actually going to be able to clip that off because I double crocheted right over that little tail. So all I have to do is just grab my scissors, whoop, and cut it right off. Just like that. And this is what your cute little flower should look like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to sew the flower onto our bracelet. Then, as an option, I'm going to show you how to put beads on your bracelet. And where we're going to be putting them is going to be on the very top right here of your bracelet. It's going to look really neat. We're going to do it on the very top here and on the bottom as well. Okay, so let me get everything ready for that, and we'll show you how to sew this on and how to do the beads. Okay, so this is an option to sew on your flower using pink yarn is what I'm using. I am going to be using the soft pink yarn that we originally did for the petals. This will actually hide the yarn and it will not look all funky. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of reposition my flower, and I think I like it like this. So in order to start sewing, I'm actually going to be showing you how to sew on this flower seamless without anything on the back. So you will not see this pink flower, this pink yarn in the very back of here. When you're starting to do something like this, the best thing you want to do is use pins so you can pin it in position instead of what I'm doing it, which is freestyling it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle and your yarn, and I am using a larger eye hole for the needle. I don't want to use anything too small, and I am just going to pick a stitch right here and go right into that. And yes, I do have a very long yarn, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it onto the bracelet, and that's all I'm going to do. And you can actually just hold that little tail there. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go through stitches just like this. This is all you're doing, and you're going to go through those 2 pink stitches right there as you're going through the blue. And when you're doing that on the back, you can't see that I went through any stitches. And you're just going to pull up. Okay, now it's okay if you're going to see pink yarn like this. It's alright. This does take practice, and you can go through every single stitch around your flower. So all you're going to be doing is going in and out is all you're going to be doing. So I'm going to go into this one, picking up blue stitches just like this, and I'm actually going in between these stitches just like that. Now if you get too far out like this, I normally just go back in and kind of go under the stitch and then find this little stitch right here. And sometimes you're going to forget, so it's okay if you skip stitches around the flower. And then you can just kind of feel it like this and see that it's been stitched. Whereas over here, it has not been stitched. I can pull that up. And then I'm going to go through this one. I'm not going to show you the whole entire sewing of me sewing on the flower. I'm just trying to give you the gist of how to do this. Okay, so we went through this stitch. We're going to go through this next one over here. And you don't have to go out too far. Again, what you can do is just grab this stitch right here, go under these stitches, and right through this stitch right here, and just pull. Just like that. Always want to flip it over as well to make sure that you're not going through any of the stitches in the back. And as you can see from this little pink piece right here, this is our flower. And we haven't gone through any of the stitches. So it's completely seamless. And this is what it should look like when you are finished. So when you flip it over, it looks like it's actually on the bracelet. If you skip stitches, that's okay. It happens. I have skipped stitches before, and it's alright. I'm just going to go right through here like this. And it doesn't matter if you've gone through the actual yarn itself or a stitch. Just like that. So this is how you do the bottom portion, as you can see. I'm going to go through this stitch right here and through these bars. You actually want to go very slowly when you are stitching something like this. Just take your time. Don't need to go very fast. Normally when I'm doing this, I go really slowly, or I will put it on the table and start sewing it. If I'm going to freestyle it like this, I will have it on the table instead of sitting it up like this. So that is the basics of how you sew on a flower. So I'm going to sew on this flower. I'm going to come back, and the next option is going to be putting on beads. If you don't want to put on any beads, you do not have to, then your bracelet is completely and utterly done. You can try it on, see how it looks. So before you put on your flower, you always want to make sure you put these little button pieces on real quick, one of them, and then pull it to the front and see if it's right in the middle of the bracelet. So it's not like on the side like this. If you want to, you can. I normally like my stuff right in the middle. So I'm going to sew this up, show you what it looks like, and then we're going to start the beads. And I finished sewing on this beautiful flower. I actually wanted to come back and show you how you can finish off. You can actually tie these two together, which I think I'm going to do. Just tie the two pieces off like this. And I think one notch should be okay. Yeah, that looks okay. We're going to move this out of the way, and then I'm just going to sew this into the flower. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go through the pink stitches, and I'm going to try and hide all of my pink yarn like this. And I'm going to go through one more time. I'm actually just going to cut my yarn off right there. Just like that. And then for this one, you can either sew it in, or Or what you can do is just cut it off. I'm actually going to sew it in real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly. Going back through basically the same stitches. And you can go through as many as you want. I think that should be enough. And then I'm just going to pull it through. And then we're just going to cut it. Just like that. And that is what your flower is going to look like on your bracelet. And if you would like, you don't have to put any beads on it, and your bracelet is done. I still have to sew in this tail. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to put beads on the sides of your bracelet, and then we will be done. And today we're going to bead on some beads onto our bracelet, and you're going to be using this poly cotton Sewology sewing thread. And as you can see, I already threaded my needle. Make sure that when you do this, that your beads can actually go through the needle like so. Okay, so in order to start this, we're going to start in one of the corners right here. And so in order to start, I'm going to take this little stitch right here, and I'm just going to put my needle right through it. Actually, we'll go through the other way. And I'm going to pull my yarn through, and then I'm just going to pull it right through this loop, and that way it will secure it. Okay, so in order to start, you're going to have your beads already over here, like I have mine. And it doesn't really matter the style, whatever you choose and like of your style. I'm just going to start picking beads up, and I'm going to do about 5 beads, just like this. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm just going to pull them onto my thread like this. And what we're end up going to be doing is we're going to skip this one stitch and go into the next stitch. And I'm just going to go right in between here like this. And I'm going to make this cute little pattern like this. Now if you want, you can do more than 5. I like the 5. And so this is all you're going to do. So I'm just going to pick up different colored beads. Sorry about that. That's my kitty in the background. She's talking. 4 and 5. Just like this. And so we're in this stitch right here. We're going to skip that one and go right into this one. I'm going to go right into the stitches like this and slowly pull it through so it doesn't get caught. As you can see, it just got caught. And there we go. And so this is the pattern that it's going to look like. Now if you don't like them this far spaced, you can go right into that stitch and do beads into the next one, next one, next one, and so on. It's how you would like it, but that is how you're going to bead it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bead it all the way down to the bottom right here and right into this stitch. And I'm not going to go around the corner. So I'm going to bead this, and I will be right back with you, show you what it looks like. And I am actually right at the very end right here. Don't count this one. This one actually goes to the little buttonhole, so we're going to want to count this one. And so I'm going to pick up some more beads. And another way you can also pick up beads is you can have them, whoa, this one's moving away, along the side like this, or put your needle into that and just dip in, hold it, and then pull it down. Then that way you don't have to hold it with your fingers, hold the beads on the needle with your fingers. So I'm going to pick up 5 more. On some of them I did 6. I felt 5 was not enough on some of the stitches. Alright, so 1 more. Okay. And then all I got to do is just, another thing you can also do is grab all your beads and fold them over and see if you like that. And if you do, you can just put your needle right into there like this and then pull right up on it. And I'm not really sure how much thread I have. I do a pretty long and then I fold it in half. So I would say probably 12 to 15 inches and then fold it in half and see if it's long enough for you. Okay, so we're pretty much done. And so I'm going to fold it over and I'm just going to go right into the stitches like this. I'm going to go through the loop like this. I'm going to grab up onto this loop, pull it nice and tight, and then I'm going to grab it into this loop and then pull it on nice and tight again. And then the only other thing I do is I go through the stitches like this, just to secure it even more. Whoop. You don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do. And then all I do is just cut it right off. Make sure not to cut your stitches. And this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to pull it out a little bit and show you. So this is what it looks like so far. And then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm also going to bead this side as well. And it doesn't really matter which side you start on. I would suggest starting over here by this buttonhole and just make sure not to go into this stitch right here where the buttonhole is. You want to go into this stitch or this big stitch right here where it looks a little frayed, and then go all the way to the end. And you don't want to go to the very end, which is this top third one. I'm going to kind of go into the middle of those 3 single crochets that we did from the previous rows. Put 3 single crochets and then we turn that corner. So do the middle one. So I'm going to bead up the side of this, and then I will show you what it looks like, and we will actually be done with our bracelet. I also put on the 2 buttons right here. I don't think you got to see that from the previous video, so those 2 are finally on. Okay, so I'm going to start beading up this side, and then I'll show you what the bracelet looks like. Okay, hello everyone. I am back. I'm showing you what it looks like on my wrist. So this is the bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel as well. That would be really appreciative, so I know that you want to see more stuff like this. So I'm going to open this up and show you what the full entire thing looks like. So this is what it looks like. I really hope that you like it. This one should not take you very long to do. Just one more thing before I go. When you are doing your beads, please take your time. No rush. You can do it in whatever colors you would like. You can do it in the multicolors that I did it in, or you can do it all in one color. You can do it in different colors. But this is what it looks like. Same with the flower. You can also do your flower in different colors or a different flower if you like. You don't have to put buttonholes on it if you don't want to. I just thought that was really cute and neat. It's a really neat bracelet. Wear it pretty much anytime, anywhere. I wanted something really nice and summery. So this was the Summer Daisy Bracelet, and I hope you liked it, and we will see you next time. Have a lovely